Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes till people get on. Waiting for my brother and my friend, DDO. We're going to dive on and we're going to do a live today. We're going to be talking all about what is quantum. What is this quantum new move of God? We are going to be moving into how we got into quantum, kind of bridge the gap out of more fundamental, traditional, charismatic Christianity. Here he is, right on. And into this new living way. We're going to get into the waters of the age of Aquarius and kingdom revelation. It's going to be
Dude, we're professionals
fantastic.
now. We got this down now.
We got this down. We got this shit down. Nice, bro.
We
Awesome.
won't have to do a three-part trilogy series this time.
Yeah, beautiful. Right on. Perfect. So yeah, right on. I just want to introduce you, bro, because I know that we probably have a lot of the same people that are overlapping, but for anybody who doesn't know, this is my brother, my friend, DDO, Daniel David I am Okapinski, and he has been pioneering this quantum revelation of the new waters of the Aquarius age long before he knew that there was going to be an Aquarius age, long before any of us knew that there was going to be a shift out of the age of the church into the age of the kingdom. And so this is a message that has been maturing in his heart for a while. And it's really been in the last 4 years or so that I've kind of come out of more Western evangelical Christianity into the new. And we started talking, and we both realized that we are actually writing books about this new age. And my book is more about a bridge book out of more fundamental mindsets into the quantum, but his is more about, you can describe it a little bit better than me, but an all encompassment of the quantum nature of reality and how it all goes together. And so basically, we just wanted to come on here and we just wanted to flow and we wanted to share about what quantum is, how we got into quantum, and some of the revelation and truths that we came into through this quantum shift in consciousness that's happening into the earth. And the scripture that I got right before the broadcast, bro, is Isaiah 43, something like that. And it's, behold, I am doing a new thing. And see, when I was in the charismatic church for so long, we were always praying, God, let's do a new thing. God, bring the new thing, bring the new thing. And I can confidently say, for over the journey of the last 4 years, that the new is here, that the new thing that we have been waiting for, the new revival that has been prophesied, the billion soul revival and all this, that Bob Jones, and we honor all the charismatic prophets and people that have prophesied these things, but it's here and it's a new thing, and it's not coming in the old wineskin. It's not coming in the way that we thought it was going to be. It's fresh waters. And then the last part of that verse is, behold, I'm doing a new thing. I am making a way, a capital W way, in the wilderness, and I am making rivers of living water in the desert. And so the church age, we've had a measure in part. We've been seeing through the glass dimly, but we haven't really had that living water. And so this is the time in the season where the glory of God is being poured out over the earth as the waters cover the sea. Okay.
Come on.
And so I'm really excited, man. We were just talking before we got on this. There's a lot of stuff popping off right now. There's the Schumann resonance, which is off the charts. There's something happening in the Hebrew calendar that you were talking about. Maybe you can share a little bit more about that, because I woke up this morning, you guys, and in the natural, it was like there was a thunderstorm that just started. I went out, I go outside, do breath work every morning, and it started torrential downpouring, and there was like lightning cracking in my backyard right when the sun was like coming up. Like, it was just this, you rarely see thunderstorms in the morning like that. And I just knew that this is a special day, and I've just been feeling the vibration, and it's been next level, bro. So
Yeah. Woo! About the Hebrew calendar thing, I don't really have much understanding on it, but a few of my friends who are teachers of the Hebrew Living Letters mentioned it to me, and then I think you and me both have a common friend, Kara.
oh yeah, okay,
Kara.
yeah,
And so, like, she actually, I mean, I've searched the earth, dude, on this waters revelation, because I carried it solo for so long, as far as like I didn't have anybody who could understand what the heck I was talking about or seeing.
right,
but
Right.
I would go on the internet intentionally searching certain keywords, you know what I'm saying, to see like, is anybody else out there speaking these words with this revelation, whatever. And it was a little disheartening because within Christianity or the Christian world, I couldn't find any really. But when I came across her, dude, not only I met, and the weird thing is, it was always, when I would find somebody, it was almost always women. I had
Mm,
ran into maybe 3 or 4 different women who had like a very profound understanding of a lot of this stuff. And sometimes people from other cultures, but like within Christianity, I just couldn't. And I was like, sometimes I'd be like, yo, am I deceived? Like, Lord, like,
right.
am I just wasting time going down a rabbit hole? Like, don't let me take anybody down the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's just something that don't go away. It won't go away. You can't stop, right? And so when I crossed paths with her, not only did I find somebody that I knew had a lot of revelation on it, she's functioning in
Mm,
it. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
She's teaching what she knows through intimate experience. She's functioning. So she was one of the ones who yesterday posted something about, it's called the 9th of Av or something. And it's a really important day in the Hebrew calendar. If I don't quote this, if I don't paraphrase this wrong, but it's the same day that the first and the second temple were destroyed.
wow.
And I don't know what the connection is with the waters, but she was mentioning something connected to the waters above and the waters below merging and becoming
Mm,
one or something like that.
mm,
And
mm.
she was actually posted some stuff out on the Pacific coast yesterday at the Pacific Ocean doing what she called a coronation, but doing a ceremony basically out there blessing the waters. And
Beautiful, man. Well, you know, the correlation between the temples is that we're the temple now, right? And so the temple being destroyed is the old church age temple and the old structures of the dead waters.
right.
The new waters are coming into the body, and the new waters are being structured by the high vibrational photonic resonance of the light that we are. And so it's like we are the new waters now. And so the third temple is us that just that is being transformed here. And so I love that, man. So Daniel, why don't we start off by just, how did you get into quantum, man? And what would you define quantum as to begin with? Just like all the way back to somebody who doesn't even, you know, they might be in the charismatic mindset still. They might not totally understand the waters and what we just said there. But like, what do you think somebody, like, what would you describe quantum as? Just like a base
So
level.
when you said at the beginning of this video, we've been talking about a new is coming, there's a new coming, and we're declaring that the new is now here. There is no new thing that has arrived and has come. There is an unveiling to realize the true thing that has always been.
I love that. Yes.
So what seems new to us is the revealing of what the true has been since the beginning.
Come on,
But
man.
because
So
we
good.
had no knowledge of the true, we had vain imaginations and beliefs that we projected onto everything, which imprisoned us into a false, fallen system that was all in our mind the whole time, right? So the light that's coming in, it's coming into our consciousness and illuminating from the inside. So we're beginning to see through the veils of our made up beliefs and the things that was, you know, presented to us and perpetuated through us. And we're beginning to see that it wasn't what we thought we knew.
Right.
And as we release those agreements with these old thoughts and beliefs, they break away and fall away, and we're able to see what was just beyond the veil the whole time, which is the glory of God, because it says the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The whole earth is full of his glory, including you and me, because this is the mystery from the beginning, before the foundations of the world. Christ in you, the hope of glory. And the truth is that all there is Christ.
It's already here.
All there is Christ. Now we can kick and resist and try to build and construct beliefs that say something contrary to the truth. And if we want to live up inside of our mind and be bound by our own contrary, you know, because we are creators and we can do that.
Yes.
He allows us to learn
Yes.
either way by kicking and resisting and going against the gold and rebelling. So I want to do it my own way. I want to figure it out.
Right.
Or by simply submitting and surrendering and say, can you just show me the truth? Ask and you shall receive. Right. And allow it to be revealed. Either way, you're going to come to the same conclusion in the end.
Yeah.
Either way, you're going to come to the same conclusion in the end and realize, you know, the futility of the carnal mind trying to use 5 senses and think it knows something,
Exactly.
right?
And that's where we get all of these doctrines and belief systems and structures that are written up in denominational adherence things that you have to adhere to, right? It's like if you don't believe these, then you're not part of our group, right? And
And
so
what a false sense of security, because even if you got 100 people in the room and you could convince them all to say yes to the whole checklist and say, I believe that, I believe that, I believe that, I believe that, that's a false sense of security, because if you actually examine the inside of each person, they might have a different set of definitions for each of those words. And so they're
yes,
saying yes to point A, yes to point B, yes to point C. But if you ask them, well, when you say that word, what do you mean? And all of a sudden we're not even talking about the same things.
right, exactly.
I'm
Like
leaving. I'm not staying at this church. I'm going to start another one that means what I
yeah,
mean when I say those
right.
words.
Right. And then we're all in unity because we intellectually agree with the things that we've written out on paper, which is two-dimensional. And then we're trying to like agree to that mentally, and we never enter the heart. See, new humans in the new earth, guys, are going to be heart-based humans that have transcended the 2D, that have transcended the rational mind, that have transcended just agreeing with things. Me and Daniel don't agree with everything
Right.
that we teach and we preach about. And that's perfectly okay because we're both in an ascended place in the heart and we are both in the way.
We
We
might
are
not
both
even agree with ourselves tomorrow.
exactly. Exactly. Right. And so we don't rally around doctrines anymore. We don't rally. This new quantum move of God is not rallying around doctrines. It's not rallying around theologies. It's true embodiment beyond the 2D, beyond the 3D, into the 5D, which is the heart, experiencing the eternal now moment outside of time, which is the 4D, in this now moment, John 17:3, that you may know, that you may know, that you may know the one true God, that we all are, right? That we all are. So this is the beautiful revelation that we're coming into. And I find that quantum is such a beautiful bridge, bro, because it is the contemporary, the modern language of that we have now to describe the spirit. So it's like back in Jesus's time, he had to talk about, like fish and loaves and the waters and all this stuff. And it's beautiful as an analogy. But for that rational mind that needs the doctrines, that needs a more linear understanding, quantum explains that. Like there's a quantum principle called I think it's called constructive interference or something. And basically it says that when two wave patterns, when two energy patterns come together, because quantum at the smallest level is just energy, it's the understanding of energy, the
Yeah.
smallest blocks of the universe. When these two waves come together, it creates a wave that's 10 to 100 times as
Like
big.
a standing wave or something, right?
Right. So it's like boom, and it creates. And guess what the Bible said? Well, guess what Jesus said? Where two or more are gathered in my name,
Yes.
it is amplified. The name, nature, the essence of Christ, it is boom. So Jesus was telling us quantum truths, guys. Every parable that I read in Jesus's words in the red letters, I can literally extract a quantum principle that is saying the exact same thing to help us understand the nature of reality, to understand the spiritual aspect and consciousness.
So,
Yeah.
so when we realize, if we can lay down some basic principles in the beginning, it helps us to fall into pitfalls of division, right? Because what we ultimately want is unification. We want to unite, right? So we
Yes.
need to
Right
watch
on.
out for pitfalls that try to make us divide from each other or feel like we're not talking about the same thing or we're not on the same page, right? So quantum is a neutral language, okay? It is a scientific language. It's a model for the mystery, right?
Come
The
on, man.
natives, the indigenous, they call the Great Spirit the Great Mystery. Wankantanka, the Great Mystery, because no matter how much you know or has been revealed to you about spirit, if it's infinite and limitless, what you know is a speck of sand on the beach. So no matter how much you're growing in knowing, you still know nothing. And to be able to
Right.
embrace that, right, allows us to embrace this great mystery that we'll never fully understand, but that mystery can reveal to us. It can reveal itself, and it's like it's a process of mystery becoming revelation, mystery becoming revelation. And what's revealed to you gets added unto you because you actually
Yes.
are that mystery and you are what it is. You're spirit born of spirit. And so the more spirit unveils and reveals the truth of itself to you, the truth of yourself is being added unto you.
Mm.
And you're moving from faith to faith, glory to glory, shining brighter and brighter like a star that you are. And this quantum language, it's neutral because it's not based in religion.
Yeah.
It's not based in belief. Okay. And Jesus wasn't starting a religion. And that's the whole thing. If you actually listen to what it says he did, it says he has made us priests and kings unto our God. Now, because we've been trapped in religion, we hear priest and we automatically think religion.
Right.
Because we think priests are the facilitators of religion because that's what it's become. But the priests were actually the guardians of the mysteries of life, of a quantum reality, of a spiritual and energetic nature of reality.
That's
That
so good.
they were initiates into understanding the mysteries, the dynamics, and the mechanics of invisible reality that is
Beautiful.
right behind the veil of this thin 0.05% visible light. It's like a paper thin, veil. But the Bible says we now judge no man according to the flesh. Even Christ at one time, who we judged according to the flesh, no longer. What does that mean? It means this thin veil of this screen right here where you see Daniel and myself, our faces. If you could just peel that, it's like peeling a sticker off of a package, right? If you could just peel the visibility off and see what's really right beyond the veil. You see him moving his head right there. Just the fact that you see him moving his head means that there's something beyond his face. There's animation, there's life, there's spirit, there's intelligence, there's a matrix of living reality beyond the veil of his face. So what is that mystery of what's behind the veil? And the priests were the guardians and the stewards of these
The
mysteries.
revealers of
They
mysteries. The
were
revealers of
spiritual
mysteries.
scientists. They
Beautiful,
were
man.
spiritual scientists. And so
That's
that's what we are doing. We are receiving the revelation. We are recovering. But like I said, as much as we're recovering, we're coming into a place where we're not going to need to be looking back and try to recover what's lost because it's just coming in. It just is what it is, and it's coming in and we're receiving it. And what it's unveiling in us and all around us the truth of the 99.99999.5% that we couldn't see because our
yeah.
brain with our five senses is just trying to see what it sees,
Yes,
color and
exactly.
shapes.
And that's why just to ride on this, that's why in the temple we have the priest in the outer court, the high priest in the inner court, and then the priest king after the order of Melchizedek in the Holy of Holies, guys. These veils that Daniel's talking about are a journey, a born again journey that we're taking from outside the temple to the outer court, to the inner court, to the Holy of Holies. In the outer court, this fleshly nature that he's talking about, what happens in the outer court? There's the brazen altar where the priest would sacrifice the beast, the bull, the goat, the animal nature, the false separate self, the flesh has to be sacrificed in the outer court. And then you come to the water laver that is held up by 12 oxen. But those oxen are the beast. They're your beast nature. It's all symbology. They're your beast nature that were once sacrificed are now holding up the waters of your spiritual life. And they have been refined in the fires. And then it says you cleanse your hands and your feet. Your works and your walk get cleansed in the outer court. So a priest is learning the mysteries of how to cleanse themselves, how to begin to live spiritually and not identify as the mind-body complex, but identify as the new human, the true self. And that's just the outer court. Then more fire gets refined to us. We move into the inner courts and we begin to become the showbread. The harvest that we were gets broken down and made into bread. The oil, the olives get crushed in the menorah and we get lit on fire even more. And we become that incense, a sweet smelling aroma unto the Lord, unto God. And we become that living vibration unto God, no longer identifying with the false self anymore. And so it's a beautiful journey that we're on. In Christianity, in the religion of Christianity, we thought being born again and salvation was accepting Jesus into our lives, which was really just the first good step,
Right.
coming from outside the temple into the outer court. And then that's all there is.
Right.
Right? That's all there is. But really, we're just realizing now that as we're diving through the waters of the outer court water basin into more heavenly realities, we're beginning to realize that there's a lot more. And like Daniel said, there's nothing new under the sun. It just is new to us because it's being revealed in a time and a season where the stars have began to align, and now is the time. God set the stars in the sky to determine times and seasons, and now is the age of Aquarius, the kingdom age, where these higher truths, comprehending the unseen spiritual realm, becoming spiritual scientists, is exactly what we're here to be,
Right.
what we're here to do. And all of the doctrines need to fall to the ground so that we can reach the true unity of the faith, which is the foundation found in the heart, which is heart-centered Christ consciousness.
And so one thing that happens that I think is part of the major pitfall is that Christians, especially Gentile Christians, we come in, we pull from things in the Old Testament here or there, but we got this concept that the Old Testament is done away with. So there's not a ton of relevance back there, right? Because we're not under the law and all this. And so we focus on the new and we see Jesus out and about moving amongst people, but we don't perceive what he's actually doing. Right. And when he's baptized by John, it's the passing on or the transitioning of the priesthood of the order of Aaron, the Levitical priesthood, to Jesus reinstating the priesthood of Melchizedek, which means from that moment forward, he is actually a high priest. And as he's bringing guys into his inner circle to walk with him, he's teaching an initiating priest. He's not making Christians.
Right. Beautiful.
He's teaching an initiating priest. And so he's teaching the masses parables.
Yes.
And parables are the language of priest. It's the language of mystery. It's misdirection. It's saying one thing, but you mean a totally different thing. And it's a coded language. And he's telling all these parables, but there's only one or two where it gives you a glimpse into what he's actually doing, because his disciples come to him and say, what did you mean? Like, we don't get it. What
can we dive into a parable that we both got the same revelation from the Spirit about?
Sure.
The parable of the sower. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, that's where I'm going right now.
Okay, dope, man. Because that's what I'm feeling too. Because Jesus said, if you don't get this parable, guys, then you're not going to get any of them. You don't get the kingdom.
Exactly.
So let's dive in right on.
And not only if you do get this one, does it unlock to you, it doesn't unlock the meaning of the other parables. It teaches you how to unlock them all.
How to decode
and not only that, then you realize Paul said, to this very day, when Moses is read, the people read it with a veil over their hearts and they don't understand it, right? They can't, because they don't understand, like you said about Sarah and Hagar and Abraham, that it's veiled in allegory, which means even the whole Old Testament is parables. Even the whole Old Testament is allegory. And so this thing that Jesus enabled to do with this one parable, if you'll see what he's doing, it's showing the outer courts humanity something that they would never see because it's off limits. Nobody on the nobody in the outer world gets to know what priesthood is all about, but they show you if you have eyes to see and ears to hear. And he takes them to the side and he says, listen, I teach in this way so that they, you know, whoever's meant to may pick up on it, but the masses, they're going to hear it and not understand it.
In other words, guys, if what Daniel's talking about right now is vibrating in your heart, if you have ears to hear and eyes to see, if there's a level of vibration or resonance in you that's going, I want to know more about this, then you're meant to know.
Right.
Then you're meant to know. But if you don't get it, and this is just all jibber jabber, and it's like this is foolishness, then don't worry about it. You're not meant to have it. That's another way of saying it.
And not even that. It's still going in you anyway. And 6 months down the road or a year down the road, when it's the right time for that seed to germinate, you're like, holy shit, that's what they were talking about. And so that's the whole thing is no worries. It's
Good point.
different times
Yeah.
for everybody, right? But so they come to the side and they're like, I mean, it was a very famous sower, right? We know it. There was a sower walking in a field, right? And he was sowing seeds. Everywhere he went, he was sowing seeds. And there was several different types of soil that these seeds were hitting. There was rocky soil. There was soil where the birds would come and eat up the seeds. There was some soil where there was thorns and thistles growing. And there was some good ground that the seed was able to penetrate deeply and go in. And he talks about the different struggles of plants not being able to really take root and grow. And anyway, they're like, what's the point of that? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, we don't get it. And he says, listen, I'm teaching this way for a purpose out there in the public, but for you, it's for me to teach you the keys and the mysteries of the kingdom. And so if you ever look at a map, all right, a big map, and there's all these roads and there's all these symbols and there's stars and there's circles and there's all these things, and you're like, well, what is that? What does that mean? You know? And down in the corner of the map, there's something called a key. And the key of a map, all the symbols that are scattered around the map will all be located in the key. And there will be definitions next to each symbol telling you what it means, so that when you see that symbol on the map, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah. Come
You
on.
can interpret the map. Okay. And so the whole Bible is a map of your inner world.
Yes.
The whole Bible, all the stories, all the parables, all the teachings of the Bible, whether or not it's historical characters, whether or not it's literal stuff, I can't guarantee any of that to you. But what I know for sure is that the entire book is a map of your inner world, your
Yes.
spirit, man, your soul, your thoughts, your intentions of your heart, your emotions, your triggers, you know, doubts, fears, all that stuff. It's all found in the Bible, and it's also found inside of you.
Yes.
Okay, but it's written in a coded way. So Jesus pulls them to the side. He says, I'm about to give you some keys. And if you understand what I'm saying right here, you'll be able to understand all of it. But if you can't understand this, you really won't understand any of it, even if you think you do. And he says, the field, the soil, the ground, the earth is the heart.
Yeah.
The seeds is the word. And then he starts breaking down, you know, the rocks and the thorns and the cares for the things of this world and the worries, or the people, the birds that come and eat the seed are people around you, doubters, haters, that get to you and influence you and make you leave behind the things that were starting to get your attention and, you know, all that stuff. And so it all boils down to literally two things: the heart and thoughts and intentions in the heart.
Yes.
Everything distills down to that. And that's what
Yes.
it says. It says that the word of God is so sharp. And Jesus is the word, right? So he's literally dividing it down right here. It says the word of God is so sharp, sharper than any double-edged sword, sharp enough to divide asunder bone and marrow, spirit and soul, and discern the thoughts and intentions in the heart.
Yes.
Why would it be important to distill it all the way down to the thoughts and intentions in the heart? Because whatsoever a man thinketh in his heart, so shall he be. Because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and all things are created through the Word.
That's right. Yeah, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks and plants more seeds into the field. And so if you have a sick heart, you're always going to be planting sick seeds, and you're always going to be reaping low vibrational realities
Passing
in your life.
generational patterns to your kids and all that.
Totally. And so another way to just sum up that parable is that, guys, you are the sower, you are the seed, you are the field, and you are the yield. Okay,
Yes.
you're every facet of that parable. Your heart emanation and your heart vibration goes out into the field, into God. It plants it. God creates co-creation, and it loops back around into an external manifestation in your life. The word that Jesus was talking about wasn't the Bible, because the Bible wasn't even written yet. He was talking about your thoughts and intentions, your heart. The things that you think and the things that you feel create your state of being. And out of your heart and state of being co-creates the reality that you're going to be seeing. So if you don't like the stuff that's going on in your life right now, there's only one place to look: in your heart.
Yeah.
If you look in the Bible, it's going to give you that mirror reflection, and you can take that sword and dig out the rocks and the weeds and all the traumas that you got from religion, that you got from mom and dad, that you got from your pastor, that you got from programming, and you can remove that out. And that's, dude, I was watching your live the other day, like just about the the thing that you went through when you were young, and the soul fragment that you healed when you were sitting on your bed there. And I've had so many soul fragments, man. When I was in, church and Christianity, always looking to the outside God to come, Jesus to walk through my wall to heal me, I was so fragmented and so broken. And it wasn't until I learned to go into my heart and do this rock and weed gardening, bring my Christ self, the love of Christ, into this area, that I began to reconcile 7-year-old Daniel when he was feeling abandoned, 13-year-old Daniel when he was rejected and using drugs, 16-year-old Daniel when he was getting in fights and he got rejected by this girl and all this stuff. And I had to bring Christ into every past timeline version of myself, because the Spirit of God, Christ in you, the hope of glory, Jesus in your temple, flipping all the tables in your temple. He's flipping over the worldly cares of the world exchange tables in our bodies that we are been prostituting our awareness into. Old patterns. And he's like, I'm going to flip this table of your awareness. But what does that look like? That looks like people coming to reject you again in your life. That looks like people coming to curse you again in your life. That looks like external triggers and traumas that you think Satan's attacking you, but really it's the negative polarity reflection of what you've created in your heart, guys. And so
What
it's
you're running from and trying
yeah.
not to see.
Come on. And
Like,
so
you don't want to turn in and see it, then that's why Jesus Christ came into the world. You don't want to turn inside and see me? I got to come out and see you face to face. The same thing happens with the darkness. You don't want to come in and see the darkness still hidden inside. I got to bring it face to face through an experience.
Boom. Exactly. Because just as the face of water reflects the face of man, a man's heart reflects the man's life. And so, guys, as we believe in our heart, we're literally co-creating our reality consistently. We didn't realize this when we were outside the temple. But now that we're inside the temple learning to live as priests, we have to begin to take responsibility for the beast nature. We're no longer victims anymore. We need to be born again, Jesus said. What does that mean? Anyone who's born again needs to be born again by one, the spirit, the air. The air is the higher intellect, the masculine principle, and the waters, the feminine principle, the heart.
And the
so we need
light.
to...
The first verse in the Bible, the spirit that moves the waters with a word that is light. That's what we are. Let us make them in our image and likeness.
Come on. It's an amalgamation of different quantum facets and faces of the vibrational essence that God is, that you are, that we are, guys. There's no separation in this new age of Aquarius that we're talking about here. The end is the beginning and the beginning is the end. I am the Aleph and the Tav, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. It is all a circular, beautiful unveiling of who we are.
So real quick, one thing that's I feel like it's important to say, right? Because if not, sometimes if you leave a truth that's a partial truth out there, people can run with it and wind up down a dead end. Okay. And cool. So the thing about us being priests in the temple and learning how to function as priests, this is very important, because the same temptations and traps with our mind that we got from religion, they can just keep putting on other masks and leading us into the same problem, right? And so we can say, Jesus is our high priest. We're all priests and Jesus is our high priest. And not notice our mind, once again, creating a schism and a separation, that he is somehow different or more than us, and not allow us to be exactly what he is. Okay, so we are one with the high priest. We are inseparable from the high priest. So it's very important, because like you said, there's a difference between priest, high priest, king priest, right? So we need to make sure that we understand he has made us, not he's making us, not he's gonna let us become. Yes. He has made us priests and kings unto our God. That means as soon as we believe, as soon as we receive the revelation of our identity in Christ, we are born instantly into the mercy seat. We are born instantly into the Holy of Holies. We are
Yes.
born instantly into the throne of God in the Holy of Holies, in the glory. That's where we live and dwell. So we're not starting at the outer courts
That's right.
and killing our animal and try to work ourselves in and then try to work in the soul realm and try to get to the Holy of Holies and hope we make it into the glory. No, it's the reverse of that curse. We are established instantly into the Most High. There's nowhere else to go.
Ooh.
We're at the top of the mountain already. Now we could open the veil and peek into our soul realm from being seated in Christ in the glory and allow the Spirit that's sitting right there with us, tutoring us, because we need no man to be our teacher, for the gift and anointing of the Holy Spirit that we've received freely is our teacher, wisdom, and will lead us and guide us into all truth. That means now we can safely and comfortably pull open the veil and look into our soul, look into our
Mm.
heart with Holy
Yes.
Spirit and let him start saying, hey, look right there. Did you remember when this happened back there? We're not identifying with these memories. We're not identifying with these things, but we got to understand that the soul and the body are inseparable. And we've been taught in the Christian church to demonize it. It's wicked, sinful flesh. But
Right.
is Jesus Christ demonizing his body and bride, or is he redeeming, restoring,
Come
reconciling,
on, man.
healing
Come on, dude.
everything
Come
unto
on.
perfection? So this right here, we're in the process of redeeming this. Jesus didn't
Yes.
leave his body and
Yes.
go to heaven. He came and picked up his body and his bride and perfected and took it with him as him. Says this is the mysterious will and plan of God, that in the right dispensation of time, he would bring together and unite all things, heaven and earth, visible and invisible, created and uncreated, in one man, Yeshua, under the authority of Christ. And that's
Come
what he's
on.
doing. He's not leaving your body out of the equation. He's not leaving your soul and your heart out of the
Yes.
equation. We are
Yes.
in the process of transformation of the
Yes.
entire thing and unification of a marriage happening, that the
Yes.
spirit, the perfect spirit, would come and pick up the body and not leave it behind and say, you're going to catch up. You're, now that I'm seeing who I am, you're about to catch
Come
up. You're going to be conformed
on.
into my image and my likeness.
Yes.
And all those old memories and wounds and the DNA codes and the genetic activations and everything that's
Yes.
going on, to see this and honor this as just as glorious and perfect and holy as the spiritual truth. We're not leaving it or dividing it, we're uniting it. And from the inside out, we are now functioning as God and as Christ and as the living word, as the doctor inside the body, doing the work with him and as him from the inside out.
Yeah. So good, man. And so you guys, what on a really practical level, what we're talking about here is we're literally talking about repatterning our body. Our body is 90% water, just physiologically. It is actually 99% water at the quantum
Molecular.
molecular level, but it's like 60 to 80% in the physical level. And so water holds frequency. Go look up at Yamamoto, Dr. Yamamoto. He did all these awesome these experiments where you would speak into the water and release I hate you, and it'd be this distorted, ugly, crystalline structure that would be in the water. And he'd say, I love you, because our words, our seeds carry information, and that information gets patterned in our waters. So when we didn't know that we were priests, that we were seated in Holy of Holies, when we didn't know our true Christ self, we were patterned by the patterns of the world. Romans 12:2 says that do not conform to the patterns of this dying world, but be transformed by the renewing of our mind. I always thought in Christianity that the patterns of the world were out there somewhere, that I wasn't to conform to watching Netflix and watching some movie, or I wasn't supposed to watch some like music or something like that. But I want to tell you that if you were raised in this world, unless you were raised under parents that were already enlightened to this Christ consciousness revelation as their union and oneness with divinity, then you have patterns and programs in your body, no matter how much doctrines and things you have that say that you're born again. And so what Daniel was talking about there is going into the past timeline versions of ourselves through loving and accepting all of our past triggers, all of our past traumas, because those frequency seeds are literally stuck in the waters of our body. And that's what demonic manifestation and deliverance actually is, guys. Demons, more accurately than external entities, are demon, division in me. Okay, in French, D means of, and mon means me, of me. They're divisions in you, mon ami. They're divisions in you, my friend. The second I stopped trying to cast demons out of me and I focused on unifying and bringing love the more excellent way to these patterns and programs in my temple, any low vibrational entities or frequencies that were attached to the trauma couldn't stay anyways, and they got vibrated out of my existence. So what we need to begin to do is we need to begin to realize that spirit, soul, and body, there's a more excellent way in loving and integrating and allowing these things, no longer judging the past, no longer judging our neighbors, no longer judging anyone, because the judgment that you put out is the measure that you're going to receive back because you're operating out of a false self. And you don't want to live in that realm anymore. It's just not worth it. I don't know about you, bro, but my days of judging people based off their separation, their sin consciousness, and trying to get them to become right, or entangling myself in that lower realm of right and wrong, good and bad, whatever. Those days are over for me, man. Those days are over. I prefer to breathe the high air, no longer shadow boxing in the lower realm. Paul said that I shadow box as if I beat the air. That word air is the same word as the prince of the power of the air used to describe Satan, which is the lower air. Whenever we're fighting in the lower air, guys, we're in duality. We're in the knowledge of good and evil, not perceiving true reality in the way. Come on.
Let me jump in when you said the shadow, right? Because this was something that was coming up just the other day. Even about this body. Even this body right here, because when you was talking about the things, the old memories that are stored inside, right?
Yes.
And until we face them and transmute them, they remain as pain, right? Pain points, traumas, wounds, right? And we don't think that they have any value. Like how can that be of value to me to have these wounds and these triggers and stuff? But as we're willing to go in and face them, what the spirit does is he doesn't just replace them. He inverts them. And there's a process, I believe, I've been being trained in this, and I believe that it's a priestly function to be able to invert.
Beautiful.
Okay, to be able to use your mind to imagine through your imagination, no matter what's going on, to have the ability in the blink of an eye to look at something, but to see its opposite.
Yes.
Alchemy, right? So the ability to alchemize by you see one situation, and instead of just agreeing with the situation, to ponder its opposite, the reverse, the inverse of it, right? And so when we go back into our heart and the spirit's sitting there guiding us and teaching us through these memories, it not only shows you that it's not what you thought it was, and it shows you what it actually is, but now each of those memories that was a pain or a trauma, it becomes its opposite inside of you, because you get excited by the knowledge you now have and you learned through it, because you can multiply, because you can reach anybody who's currently locked up in that situation of thinking, feeling, believing that exact same thing.
Yes.
And you now have the words of opposition, the opposing opposite truth of what they're stuck in.
Yeah.
And you can come in now and invert and reverse the curse for them, because this is what we're doing right here, right? We're painting pictures with words that are light, that help people to see. And once you're there with a face-to-face vision, you can imagine, you can see something, you can choose to agree with it. And when you choose to agree with a brand new thing, it breaks the ties you had to the past of what you thought it was, right? And so the ability to invert, the ability to reverse. Now, here's what I was going to say about this body. So internally, that's what we're doing with the memories. With this external image of this body, we need to begin to use, he's giving us a new self-image, okay?
Yep.
He gave us a name, he's revealing a nature, but we need to have something that when I say I, every one of us has a self-image, okay? And your self-image is gonna be based on what you've been through, your birth certificate information, your height, weight, gender, age, nationality, ethnicity,
all
all
the
that.
external, false, separate, surface level self that we were
What you look at when you look in
programmed
the mirror.
with,
And,
right?
and we think, okay, so when I think Daniel David Oskopinski, obviously I'm almost 43 years old. I'm 180 pounds. I'm whatever, whatever, whatever. And the thing is that there's a part of you that's invisible. There's a part of you right now in heavenly and uncreated realms of glory that we cannot know until we experience it. But we can't experience it without stepping into it. And this body, it's a shadow of the real
Come
thing.
on,
And
dude. That's so good.
Paul says that there's an earthly body and that there's a heavenly body and that the two have different glories, right? And so we can look at this shadow, this earth, we're not judging it good or evil or even lesser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just distinct.
Yeah.
So we can look at this, and as priests, if we understand how to invert, how to see its opposite, but something that's still like it. There's a version of me that steps into dreams every night. There's a version of me that can step into the spirit and limitless other dimensional realms that in certain ways it still kind of looks like me, but it's made out of light and it's limitless. And if I want to fly, I can fly. If I want to, there's no stopping what I can do, but there's still kind of a form and an image that I am when I go into those places. And so I can begin to ask the question, well, why do I feel like that's just a dream or that's not the real me? This is the real me. I'm still identifying and holding closer to what I know more, which is actually the shadow of the real me. The shadow of the real me is actually the limitless being of light.
Yes.
That is what Christ is and who can take a form, and it may be a form that looks kind of like this. And that starts helping me to let go of this so much and not cling to identifying with this, but honor this for what it is.
Yes.
Remember like in Plato's cave when they would see the shadows on the wall?
Do you know the picture I'm getting right now, man, while you're talking about this? Guys, picture a flashlight, like a really bright light, but then a screen door. And then, you know, if you shut a flashlight to a screen door, there's just a slight shadow, but a ton of screen doors, a ton of different veils. And so it's like by the end it reaches, it's just a solid shadow. That's the body. But the Christ self is the light that's coming through, and all the past patterns and programs of when we got rejected when we were 5, when we got abused and beaten here, another screen door, another layer, another layer, another layer, another layer of the programming to anchor us to identify with the shadow, with the body. I am my trauma. And so when we go within and we begin to hold that place and space of awareness, for the patterns to surface in the garden of our hearts, we become one with the gardener in our awareness, because we're no longer fighting anymore. We've hammered our swords into a plowshare, and through our awareness, we can begin to love and integrate and remove all of those shadows and wash the glass, so we're no longer seeing dimly, but we're identifying with the Christ. And so even though we're starting as the light, we need to learn to embody the light and then go back through the temple externally to reconcile all the states that we thought that we were when we didn't know who we were.
Boom. So let's do something, because I wanted to do this from the beginning, but I wanted to wind up here, okay? Because with this new knowing, with this new gnosis knowledge, right? It's not intellectual. I am like so over trying to convey information or teach in a way where I want somebody to believe what I believe.
Right.
I don't want you to believe nothing. I don't even want to believe. Okay. Belief is just the door.
Yeah.
Just like accepting Jesus in your heart. That's just the door for you to be able to know. I don't want you to believe nothing I believe. I want you to be able to know, and knowing is experiencing, right? So I have to move into a new way of teaching or transmitting information and conveying something that I can take you into an experience right now with my words. My words, when he said, nobody can know the Father except come through me, it's not talking about a man, it's talking about a word. It's talking about a revelation.
Yeah.
So if I can't speak right now and my words be light that calls you to experience something right now, I'm wasting my time.
Yes.
I want to be able to convey something to you right now where you experience it and you know it, and you no longer need me to keep telling you what it is, because you can't forget what you experienced. So let's all get ready for a quick experience. We're going to do an experiment, okay? Let's everybody, if you want to really maximize this, stand up where you're at, wherever you're at, just stand up so that you could really feel. I want you to, this is going to be a multi-dimensional experience. Now, remember everything that we've been saying on this video, that you are the temple. Your body is a temple. The whole Bible is about you. The whole Bible is a revelation to you of who and what you are, and the fact that you're a multi-dimensional being, that right now, right where you're standing, you exist simultaneously in many dimensions that you may have yet to, to explore and
That's
experiment and
right.
traverse. But it's your responsibility, and not a pastor, not anybody else, to tell you what to believe. It's your responsibility to explore the depths of your being and to know for yourself, okay? So we're gonna start just by looking out. I want you to just, wherever you're at, move your eyes around the room, just take in the information. We're looking at a physicality, okay? Everything that you're seeing is made out of matter. Just take your eyes all around the room, look at your body, look at the external of your body. We've been told that this is dirt. We've been told that it's earth and minerals and all that, and we're gonna honor that. So we're gonna embrace that we are currently in and on the earth, okay? We're looking at what we call earth.
We exist.
We are engaging the earth of our being, the outside of the temple, right? And in the Bible, it talks about the temple, that its walls and its exterior was made out of animal skins.
Wow.
So we're looking at the temple from the outside. We're not even in the temple at this point, right? We're looking at the temple from the outside. Now, everything that I'm about to frame up with you through language, it's all true, but depending on what words your mind is agreeing with, your words will keep you locked into a certain realm or dimension and make it so you can only experience that. So if we're thinking about earth, we're thinking earthly, we're only going to encounter matter. Now, I want you to focus on the fact that, like he said, besides the truth of earth, your body is actually 70 to 80% water and 99% water molecularly. So we're going to go into the awareness of water, and instead of thinking of yourself and your body as earth, I want you to look at the exact same body and to start thinking of your body as water, okay? And whether you know it or not, you're standing inside of water, because water is not just puddles on the ground or clouds in the sky. This entire atmosphere, you're breathing water right now. We're inside of a field of water. This whole thing is actually
The
water. You're inside it.
firmament.
Right? If you don't give awareness to it, you won't think or believe it, but that doesn't change it from being true. So you're standing inside of a field of water, and your body's actually made out of water. So when we focus on the nature of water, it's conscious, and it's intelligent, and it stores memory. So suddenly you're going into a body, you have an emotional body, you have a conscious, intelligent body that stores memory. So
Yes.
beyond what you thought you were as dust and dirt, simultaneously right there where you are, you have a body that's actually, it's energy, it's consciousness, it's intelligence, and it stores memory. The exact same temple, but we
Yes.
pulled back a veil.
Right.
We moved through one veil, now we're standing inside the temple. Right?
It makes a lot of sense with this revelation why they put you in school sitting down, not moving your waters at all, to get programmed with certain doctrines and certain belief systems and curriculums for 8 hours a day to prepare you for 18 years to go into something else, another role that you have to work 8 hours a day. We've been so programmed, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but once we begin to see it, and we begin to see the depth of the brainwashing, of the water infusing, and the type and depth of memories that are in our body, even from religion, guys, we begin to realize that we need to move beyond the mind that thinks it knows about this stuff, and we need to move into what you're probably going to talk about next. There's more.
Yeah.
There's more. There's more. We need to move beyond the body, beyond the waters, even into the essence.
So the earth and the waters are the two feminine elements. Okay, they're receptive. If I go outside and I put seeds down in the ground, it's receiving the seeds and reacting to the seeds. Okay. This quantum field, which is the waters, it's receiving and bringing me situations. And the waters of our body and our heart, it's receiving words and storing memories. Okay. So these are feminine. That's why we talk about Mother Earth or Mother Nature.
Yeah.
The body is the bride.
Yeah.
Okay. So those first two from this earth and the waters of the heart. That's why we also talk about the heart being feminine. So when we
Yes.
get in tune with our emotions, right? That's the feminine part of us. So when it says, let us make them in our image and likeness, male and female, that earth part and that waters part of emotional consciousness and memory and the heart, that's the feminine part of all of us. It doesn't mean he's making men and women. It means making beings who are both feminine and masculine. So
Yes.
those first two stages that we're walking into this temple, the outer courts, the earth, the physicality, the structure, the matter, the minerals, and then the consciousness and the intelligence and the emotions and the memory. Now, the next part of that, simultaneously, right where you are, let's take a big breath through the nose. 1, 2, 3. So that breath that's all around you and filling the entire universe, which is not only your breath, but God's breath. You share a breath with God, and the word breath is the same word as wind and
Spirit,
spirit. And it
ruach.
says that the spirit is like the wind, but it also says that the sons of God are like the wind.
And those who are mature sons of God are actually led by this part of their
Come on.
nature. They're by the right, no longer led by the surface level self anymore, because we're no longer identifying as the mind body complex, but we're beyond into the heart, into the spirit.
And like you said, the programs of education, everything comes down to words and definitions, because the whole time it's been there. That's why the thing is, nothing new is coming into you other than the light of revelation that unveils what it already is and what you already are. Because that since the moment that this little body came out, the first thing that happened was this spirit that fills the entire universe and moves and animates everything on the planet came into you and resides in you from that first second on. So it's an unveiling of the fact that God's life is in you. And it says there's one spirit, one Lord, one God, one Father. That's above all, in all, and through all. So when that spirit came into this temple, it comes in, it says the spirit gives life to the mortal body. And it says that the life is in the blood. So this breath, wind, and spirit of God came in, come to your diaphragm, through your lungs, through your heart, into the bloodstream, circulate through this body, which means it's oxygenated. They tell us it's oxygen or air, and that makes us think it's just like a thing. But it's not a thing, it's actually the being of life itself.
Yes. Everything has intelligence, everything has consciousness in it, because everything is a fractalized version of a different frequency information wave of God,
Yeah.
of the divine source.
So right where you are, yes, you have an earth dimension of the temple. Yes, you have a waters dimension of the temple. Now we're moving into a spiritual, we could call these bodies, right? They'll talk about, we have a physical body, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have a spiritual body. These are these bodies. We're moving right into it right now. So you have a spirit body, because if this spirit is coming into this body and circulating through this body, that means every square centimeter of this body is being oxygenated or inspired or respiratory. We're respiring. So you have
Yes.
a dimension of your body that looks just like your body. It's the same shape and form of the body, and it's completely infused with spirit. So whatever that spirit is, you are. And what that
Amen.
spirit is, it's animating, and it's not thinking, it's beyond thinking. We already passed that veil, right, of the intelligence and the consciousness. It's something that's beyond thinking. It's something that's beyond words. It's something that refuses to be contained and confined and
Yes.
defined by your words, thinking you can say what it is. No matter
Yes.
what you call it, no matter what you can say, you want to relate to it, it's not that. It's
It's an
something beyond that.
operating, yes, it's an operating system beyond what the mind has a capability to grab hold of. And the only way to perceive this reality, you guys, is in the heart. And so while you're talking and you were leading people into an encounter, feeling their body, now let's lead people into an encounter, into identifying with the breath. So you guys, let's take a couple slow, deep breaths in, and I want you to just place your hand on your heart, because where your attention, your awareness goes, your energy flows. And so when we unlock the heart and we begin to feel as we breathe into our heart, then we can begin to not associate with the table in the room, with the books on the shelf, with the body, but I want you to subtly just become aware of the space in the room. Become aware of the space in between the table, in between objects, and just see the space in the room. You'll get whacked. You'll get whacked if you become aware of the space. Okay? Even when I'm talking, when we're talking, you guys, be aware of the silent spaces in between the words. Because this is the other aspect of the unseen form that is being manifested in this space-time realm. This is moving into timelessness, beyond time.
Dude.
So let's just take a couple deep breaths in, and let's feel and know the space, the spirit awareness. And the deeper we anchor ourselves into this reality, you guys, the deeper that we anchor ourselves into this reality, it becomes flippin' obvious that we're all one. It becomes obvious that we're all one. It becomes obvious that what you do unto others, you do unto yourself.
When you did it to the least of these, you did it unto me.
Yes. Why did you not feed me, Lord? Why did you not feed me when I was broken, when I was in jail? When were you in jail, Lord? When were you broken? What you didn't do to the least of these, you didn't do to me. And what you did to the least of these, you did unto me. Because
I want to
it's
throw
the
one
one
more.
spirit.
I got to throw one more
Spirit.
little fact that's going to take this up, crank it up 10 times.
Come on.
Okay. When you're taking the breath in and out and just really becoming aware of that breath, remember I said it's not just going in and out. It says it's all around you and in you and through you. But I want you to know one thing, your respiratory system, it's not just in and out of your mouth and your nose. Your entire epidermis in your skin of your body, which is the biggest organ of your body, it has millions and millions of tiny pores that also breathe.
Yeah.
So when you breathe in through your nose or mouth, your skin is exhaling. And when you breathe out through your nose and mouth, your skin is inhaling. So I want you to imagine that when you're taking these breaths in and out, it's not just through your nose and your mouth, it's actually coming in and out through your entire body, which means there is no separation. The spirit that's all around you is your spirit. The spirit that's flowing in you. I want you to imagine it moving literally through your body, not just coming out through your nose. Imagine it literally penetrating and coming in and out through your whole body, which means that the breath's not in your body's inside your spirit.
Come on.
Your body is inside your spirit. Your spirit is God's spirit. Your spirit is God's spirit. Your spirit fills that room right now. Your spirit fills that whole parking lot. Your spirit fills your car. There's no end to your spirit because there's no end to God's spirit. Anyone who's joined to the Lord is one spirit with the Lord. Stop minimizing and separating what you think, even if you think you're spiritual, then somehow dividing in your mind that, well, your spirit is somehow less than God's spirit. Your spirit is God's spirit.
Come on. All shared in one reality. And guys, on a physiological level, everything that he just said, you can look this up online. People have painted themselves fully like bodysuits of paint, but with unbreathable paint, like body paint. This is how they figured it out. And people would literally be dying, bro. They'd paint their whole body and they would be dead in 2 hours because they couldn't breathe. They'd suffocate to death. Yeah.
That's
so
wild.
It is, man. And so it's amazing that our bodies are a reflection of this deeper truth. And see, in the age of Pisces, the fish, when Yeshua came onto the scene to make fishers of men, he was teaching them about the fish, but individual salvation, about just the fish. But in the age of Aquarius now, guys, we're learning about the waters, the environment that is giving oxygen and life to the individual fish, the bodies that we are. But it's a greater reality that we're all partaking in, that we're all one with And so let's just take a couple moments to experience it. So it's not a nice doctrine, that it's not just a nice intellectual thing, because it doesn't matter if we can write a book about this. It matters that you become the book. Okay. The books that we're writing about these topics are meant to lead to an encounter, to break things open so that you can become a living epistle known and read by men that are looking for the true self. You guys, I'd highly encourage you to share this broadcast out right now. Be a vessel, a stream, a channel of the new, releasing the vibration in the airwaves.
Thank you, Lord, for making things practical. Thank you for anchoring these things in as experiential realities and not just more words to kick around or new beliefs to exchange old beliefs, that we go beyond belief and into experiential knowing, that it's added unto us. It becomes who we are. It becomes what we are. We become the revelation. We become light. I want to take it right now. We're going to go beyond. We're going to go through the spirit into the next dimension, because it says he is the light that lighteth every man that comes into the world. That means that there must be a light somehow, that every man, whether they're a Christian or not, whether they're a religious or not, no, even if they're in complete denial, that somehow there's a light that can light
Yes.
every man that comes into the world, right? So I want you to think about that sun that's outside, whether if you're inside, there's a sun over your house, or wherever you're at, somewhere outside, right? There's a sun. And it seems like to the carnal mind, it seems like to the five senses that the sun is outside, because clearly we can see it. It's up there. It's in the air. Clearly we can see the sun is out there. Just like we used to think God was out there, or we used to think that Jesus was out there. But I want to show you something. Right now, even though it's been raining here today, there's no lights out here, like artificial lights lighting me, okay? So the fact that you can see me visibly means that the light of the sun is reaching me and bathing me. And you cannot separate the rays and the light from the ball in the sky. They're one thing. And if the light, the rays, the warmth, the life, the energy from the ball is reaching me and bathing me, it's not bouncing off of me, it's also penetrating me and moving through me, which means I'm standing inside the field of the sun's light. I'm actually inside the sun. My brain tells me that the sun is outside of me, but the spirit reveals to me that I'm actually standing inside the sun. And that's the same thing that happened in church. Our brain used to tell us God must be outside of me and up there somewhere, but the truth revealed to me omnipresence, that I am actually standing inside God. Like Jesus said, I am in the Father and the Father's in me. The Christian church has been so scared to talk at all about the sun or try to include the sun into any of our spiritual revelations for fear of paganism and all this stuff. And it's true in a sense that if man down here was to look at the sun up there and consider it separate from him, he would fall into worshiping it as some kind of God.
Just like we do with God.
And Jesus,
right.
a fake Jesus that we project up there, out there,
that's coming
and come
back
into
on its
subservience.
horse.
Yes.
It's coming back to set the world right on the clouds.
But if you was to turn and look at the sun right now and realize that what you're seeing up there is actually what's making you see yourself. And there's no separation between you, the source of that light, the light that you see, and that light is inside of you. Now, we've been tricked into thinking we need to eat plants and animals that eat plants in order to get the sunlight, but it turns out that the sunlight's actually already inside of us and that we're inside of it. But because we don't believe this, we cannot experience it.
Let me help the mind in this spot, because I've been studying this for the last 5 years. in each cell of our body, we have something called mitochondria, and the mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. The biggest misconception is that we need to eat food to give energy to our mitochondria. The mitochondria actually don't have a food. They don't have a carbs, a protein, or a fat transport chain on them. Guess what they have? They have an electron transport chain. That means that the mitochondria run off electrons. So every time you're eating food, your body is stripping that food of its electrons, which came from the sunlight, from the plants and the animals. And so when we begin to learn and connect our awareness, and I don't like even the word believe anymore, because believe is like having faith in something that doesn't exist. When I say believe now, I mean aligning ourselves to a reality that already exists.
Come on.
So when we believe in this reality that we are in the sun and the sun is feeding our bodies as the sons of God that we are, then we can begin to go for extended periods of time without food or water. The Essene initiation was having to fast for 40 days without food or water in the desert, and we see Jesus do that. Okay, I've personally fasted for 44 days before, but that was before I even had this revelation. That was still living in the flesh. Right. Now I'm practically, and it's not because I'm a special person or anything like that. It's because we're anchoring the truth. I'm not the separate chosen one. We're coming into this reality where I'm beginning to run marathons without eating for 24 hours before.
Because the religious fasting is focusing on what I'm not going to do, as opposed to connecting intentionally with a new.
Or to get it, or a blessing, to get God to move to bless us, when really that stuff happens, but it's because we're believing, aligning into the truth, and it comes into alignment, and then it's established unto us in that moment. And so everything that you're saying is absolutely 100% true from the scientific level, at the level of mitochondria, to help our minds. Because sometimes we do need our minds to understand, okay, how does that work scientifically? I've been told that I need to eat all of this stuff. But you know what, guys? Our mitochondria don't even take food. They take electrons. So we can get electrons from the ground. We can get electrons from the sun. We can get electrons from going into the sauna, going into cold exposure.
From a conversation like this.
The food that the disciples not knew what of, doing the will of my Father. Dude, me and my friend Danielle were talking the other day in a session, and this is exactly what we were talking about. She was visiting friends and stuff, and it was just like, when we are together with friends, our appetite goes way down. Like anytime I come on to like hang out with people, like I don't even need to eat at all. I might eat like once in the day, if that, just a couple eggs or something. It doesn't even matter, because that vibration, bro, it is this vibration. This is it.
So check it out. So we are actually inside the field of the sphere of influence of the sun. We're standing inside the sun, but the sun is concealed inside of you as a mystery. Okay, so inside of you, there is a mystery that what you see when you look outside is also inside. And when you look at that, that's what you look like. That you ever look in the midday? It's almost blinding. Like you can't like even try. Like, oh my God, like dude. We need to catch this revelation, because our self-image is being replaced with that weak, limited, frail human frame that's decaying. Okay, when you look at the sun, you see something that don't change. You see something that's glorious and powerful. You see something that's radiating and emanating. You see something that's life-giving. You see something that Jesus pointed to it, and he said, love your enemies, then you'll be the children of your Father in heaven, who makes his sun to shine on the just and unjust alike. That means that the sun is a revelation of the Father's heart. The sun actually has a nature that's the same as the Father's heart. It's to shine on everybody, just and unjust alike, no respecter of persons, to give life to everybody, to give word to everybody, to give truth to everybody, to give light, to give life to everybody, and to be like a star. And so when we look at that, we realize, oh my God, that's what we are. We begin to identify with light. We begin to identify with a new nature that was always there, but it's limited by what we're willing to agree with and believe.
Right.
So we start moving through these, and so when you look at that nature of light, it's not just giving sight, it's not just giving visibility, it's not just giving warmth and animating, it's giving codes, it's giving information, right? So giving revelation is a nature of that sun. And we start tapping into something. Now, let's say what I said a minute ago. We have this earth vessel in the same exact form in space. There's one dimension of it that's earth, minerals. The exact same form in space, there's another dimension that's water, consciousness, emotional memory, intelligence.
Yes.
Same exact form in space, there's spirit, animating principle. The same exact shape and space, there is light. And you
Yes.
have a light body. You have a multi-dimensional temple and frame of a light body that looks exactly like you, but it ain't made from the dust. It's not the shadows of the
Yep.
outside. It's something that's indestructible. It's something that's immortal. It's something that is revelation itself. It's knowledge itself.
Yes.
It's light. It's illumination itself.
And
You
you
know?
know what? All of these, bro, that's so good. All of these different layers and levels, these different densities that you're calling, according to the law of one material that Ra puts forth, different densities are different amounts of vibrations, and it determines the higher the density is, more light can go into it. And you're describing in the book of Revelation the 7 seals that are unlocked in the body. So the earth is the lowest, the root chakra, the root earth energy center. And as we learn to disidentify and ascend, so to speak, if we look at it from this level, it's just all the different paradigms that different people have brought together from different facets coming in to explain the same truth that we are embodying this higher level of light. And the root of it is through the heart. We have to begin to live from the heart to catch this revelation.
Right. That's the
because
center, right? That's the center of it all, the fulcrum.
That's the center, yes, where we begin to become spiritual, and we stop identifying with the lower lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, the pride of life, the earth, and we begin to leave behind Adam and the atoms, and we move into the spirit, and we become the born again, the Christ, in through the heart of the gateway.
So then light, we've passed through light, okay? And when we think about light, obviously it's like visible, right? It makes things visible, or we're seeing, so it's visible. And we're gonna let go of visibility and go into invisibility. There's an invisible part of you. You couldn't see the sun visibly if behind that light, it wasn't a word, vibration, and frequency. So beyond visibility, there's word, vibration, and frequency. And so right here in this exact same frame and form, there's a part of you that's invisible. There's no substance to it. It's all just vibrations and frequencies and movement, right? You literally are a word. You are a word, but you can't have a word. You can't have a vibration and a frequency or a movement unless there's a substance or a medium for the word to move through, for a vibration or frequency to move through. What is it vibrating? What is it vibrating? So that's where we get to the waters above. She said, Noelle popped down here a little while ago, she said plasma, right? So we talk about the waters below even store memory, but the waters above, it's this etheric plasma that fills the entire universe. It's the bedrock, it's the foundation, it's the invisible potential substance. Before anything is, it's the
quantum field. The quantum
field.
And
we are that field. We are the entire field with no form. When you can let go of your form of who you think you are as an individual, you come into that unification with the whole thing. You come into that, you come back into the potential. There is no separation between God and I, or me and the Father, or any of that kind of stuff. There just is.
The invisible is in the visible. The invisible is penetrated in all the visible things and beyond.
The visible is just coming out of it and expressing. You know, and ultimately we can call it love. God is love, or God is one, or God's spirit. But ultimately we've got to get to the place where no word suffices. Stop trying and striving. Allow God to be greater and beyond anything that the brain can conceive or try to confine and define. And that great mystery, that great undefinable, uncontainable, inexplainable, you know, limitless being, not only to let God be that, but to allow yourself to be that, because when you dissolve into him, there's no separation. We are that. And we are coming down as these individual, perfect, one of a kind, unique expressions. And it's not either or, it's yes and. We are all that right where you are. And we have the ability to go in and come, to go in and come out, in and come out, to go up and come down, and to explore these dimensions with him, and to be taught I shall not want. He leadeth me beside still waters. That's talking about going in and coming out and exploring these dimensions, these realms of the life that we are.
Hell yeah, man. Awesome. You cut out there right when you're like you're like going in and out, and then it just like shut out for a bit, but we're back. It's good. It's good. It's good. So good, guys.
Woo!
If you guys are enjoying this broadcast, let's get some hearts in here. Let's get some thumbs. This has just been such an amazing spirit flow, man. Such a beautiful quantum interconnectedness, hitting this thing from multiple angles and different things. One thing that's come up a couple times that I just want to say, tying the light and the waters together in a certain way. Guys, thanks for all the love that's pouring on the broadcast right now. It's just so awesome to co-create this interaction with you. So in this age of Aquarius, you guys, the stars, the light vibration that's above us in space, as we're this rock, this earth, going through the cosmos, the stars are lights that are releasing frequencies down to Earth. And guess what Earth is? Earth is just mirroring our body. It's like 60 to 80% water. And the Earth is receiving the light codes, the vibrations of the information of the certain celestial objects and constellations that we're now in the vicinity of. So this is where like astrology and different stuff comes in. And in Christianity, we thought it was all demonic. But the truth is that once you understand quantum and once you understand vibration, you begin to realize that it actually is very significant where we are at and what stars, what information from the cosmos, from the mind of God is being transmitted and put into Earth right now. So in this Kingdom Aquarius age, we are receiving Kingdom Aquarius revelations and frequencies from the light codes from the stars that are going in and being stored in the oceans, in the waters of our planet, in our bodies, and we're drinking that water and we're breathing in that water and we're receiving higher dimensional light codes from the cosmos that is up leveling us. So when you look at the mainstream news media and you look at the politics and you look at all the bullshit that's going on that goes, oh, the end is near and the economy is going to collapse and we're not going to make it and all this stuff. No. We are receiving light codes from the divine. We are receiving elevated vibrational states, and the end of the book, the new earth is coming. The new earth is coming. There's no stopping it. So it's up to you how you want to experience it. Do you want to enter into heart-centered Christ consciousness and begin to rule and reign in your temple on the throne with him and begin to actualize and become a channel for this new earth reality, living as a new human in this new earth? Or do you want to go and tether yourself to the old structures that are beginning to crumble down? Jesus said, I have no hooks in me, no hooks of the world, no hooks of Satan in me. And so if you have hooks in you, if you're banking on your bank accounts, if you're banking on the external structures, when these structures collapse, as we're seeing rapidly, guess what's going to happen? You're going to go down with them. But it's not really the truest essence that's going down. It's just your carnal mind operating system that's attaching to something that you think that you are. So it's actually designed to bring you to an ego death anyway. So it's all working out for your good no matter what. The question is, how do you want to experience it? Do you want to experience it in the bliss, in the flow, in the glory, with your feet in the grass, receiving the breath, breathing through your skin, letting the vibration and the oxygen and the light of heaven permeate your consciousness on a daily basis? Or do you want to be believing intellectual doctrines and trying to conform to certain modalities and different structures and things like that to try to make everything line up? Okay? Revelation 4 says, come up here and I will show you things to come. Okay? These are the things to come. The things to come is the new heavens and the new earth. And so you guys, it's up to us what we get to choose. I don't know about you guys, but I'm choosing the heart. I'm choosing the heart space of divine embrace. I'm not going to worry about anything like that anymore. And so, yeah.
Awesome. Pitch your book real quick.
Pitch my book. So you guys, I'm writing a book. A lot of the stuff that you've heard on this live and the other lives is coming through it. It's called Jesus Never Blamed the Devil, a quantum oneness perspective on mirrored reality co-creation. And the reason why I called it Jesus Never Blamed the Devil is because I needed to hear that when I was in the outer court, blaming my sinful nature, blaming the devil, blaming the demons, blaming people in my life, blaming my past trauma. Because when we begin to take responsibility in our life, we get an ability to respond. This is what the Bible calls grace. Okay, grace is the empowerment, the energetic quantum empowerment, the light, the love, the spirit, the word, vibration that we are, that comes into our temple that we become aware of, that empowers us to walk out the truth of who we're called to be. And so that's what my book is about. It's a bridge book to help people that are still stuck in separation, stuck in duality, stuck in the knowledge of good and evil, come through over the bridge into the heart, into the way of life. I have practical talks about how to heal those past timeline versions of ourselves, how to get free from all of this stuff, and how to really step into the new version of our stuff. I've been writing this book for 3 years. I literally had to rewrite it like 3 times, man. It was just like insane. It was just, and finally, it's just like, I got to put it out. It's almost done. It's going to the publisher. I'm really excited to be getting it published with Andre in Divine House Publishing. And so watch for that later this year. And how about you, man? Tell the people about your book.
So my book is still really in infancy. And I feel led today, instead of talking about that book, I want to talk about, I just want to pitch an opportunity for guys in particular.
Sure.
I'm doing a men's retreat in 2 weeks in Central Florida. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because everything that we just talked about in this book, which is very, in this conversation, which was very concentrated, right? Like we crammed it all in an hour. And that whole little thing I did with the temple and the different dimensions we exist in, and
It's good.
it's that stretched out over 48 hours. It's a men's retreat. It's called Chrysalis. And it literally takes us stair-stepping through those things. But in particular, as men, how do we take this revelation and flood it into our body, our bride, our business, and brotherhood? Having relationships with other people who get this wild, crazy journey that you're on. And it's just guys. It's a dozen guys. I think we got 6 or 7 so far. So there's a couple spots available. It's super cheap.
Awesome,
It's a
man.
very minimalistic thing, and we're going to go camping in the woods for two nights, and have some food together and activities. We got one homie of mine who's a personal trainer going to come do some movement and some physical stuff with us. We're going to do some breath work. But I believe that it's going to be a really transformational encounter, and it's a group of us guys all really kind of contribute and putting it on. And it just birthed out of fellowship in the last couple of weeks. And the more that we hang together and birth this thing together, we see it as a really revolutionary blueprint of something that we're going to start doing on a regular basis. But I think there's 6 spaces available. So if anybody is interested in a weekend that will change your life, and maybe you're caught some of the stuff on this live and you're interested, but it's a little too fast paced or over your head, it'd be a great way to slow it down practically in the flesh with a group of guys and stretch it out over a weekend and really have conversations and meaningful connections that can help you grasp it, help you grab it, and really anchor it in.
So good. Where can people find that? Is that like on your page? Is there a link?
I will drop the link in right here while you keep talking.
Beautiful. And that is that going to be in Florida, or where's the location
That's in Central
for that?
Florida, yeah, Kissimmee, Florida, right by Disney area.
That's awesome, man. I'm guys, if you're in the Florida area, I would highly recommend going to that retreat. I'm up in Canada here. I'm having some trouble getting into the States, but I've applied for the waiver and I'm waiting for everything to work its way out. And I would be there, man. I'm going to definitely be there for the Chrysalis. I love the name of it too, man, because the Chrysalis, the butterfly analogy has been so foundational for this journey that I've been on. Because that butterfly is like the one-dimensional, like surface level false self, the body that's like going through, that's just like eating all the leaves, destroying its environment, just living as the false self, and then it has to stop.
Adam walking in the dust.
Yeah, and it has to break down. And the thing that was fascinating for me when I understood what a cocoon or a chrysalis was, is that old false nature, that caterpillar, it doesn't just sprout wings and come out as a
Right.
butterfly. It has to fully dissolve. It has to become the water. It has to
Yeah.
just become the spirit nature, and then it emerges a multi-dimensional version of that which it was, where it can soar on the winds of the spirit. And so it gains that new operating system, guys. And so that's going to be real deep.
When you look in the Bible, you see Adam, the man of dust, toiling and laboring by the sweat of his brow, right? You see the cross. The cross is the chrysalis because we
Mm,
died through the cross. The cross puts the old
so
man to
good.
death. And then there's something new that's formed from the revelation of Christ. And it's the new man, which is Jesus standing in the book of Revelation with a face that shines like the sun and living in heavenly realms.
Come
And
on.
so,
Like the
um,
sun.
like the sun. And so, yeah, it's an amazing journey. It is a really cool illustration of this journey that we're all on.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's super dope. Awesome. There was
Love you,
one.
dude.
Love you too, man. I'm just gonna answer one comment here. They were asking about where you can find the book and stuff. Go to the link above for Daniel's retreat. And my book is gonna be hosted, or it's gonna be available everywhere books are sold. It's gonna be Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Chapters, Indigo, everywhere. So just be ready, looking for that later. It's gonna be great. So right on. Love you too, brother. You guys, thanks so much for coming on here today to co-create this
Share this
reaction.
live on your page, guys, so other people can catch the combo.
Straight up. Right on. Have a great day, you guys. Shalom.
Peace.